So I wanted to take some time today and talk about the good, the bad, and the future of the Focus ST. Let's start out with the good. The good parts of this car is everything since 2013 that they've upgraded on it it's been a good move. For example, the front of the car, making it more aggressive, more RS-like features up front and less rounded. The headlights have been improved. The taillights were made smaller and more of a sleek look. The colors that they've added over the years have been good. And most importantly, the power is still extremely relevant, even, 5 years later now, moving into 2018. Now, with 2018, we still have this Focus ST, and it's going to be, for the most part, unchanged with the addition of a few colors. For them to extend it, have a 5-year production period of this car, just shows how well it's been selling in the United States and around the world, because it is a global platform. The other good things about this car is, I would say, the technology package within it. My car specifically has Sync 3. Sync 3 has been great. It has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all that kind of stuff, and it's really good. It's relevant, and it's actually, for cars, there's even some like BMWs, Mercedes, Audis, like on the lower end, if you don't get their tech package, the package that comes in a Ford is actually a lot more functional. The screen is a higher resolution. It's a very impressive tech package that comes in these cars, and it's a lot of times it's overlooked because you're not really looking at the technology in the car, you're looking at the performance and is it fun to drive. Speaking of is it fun to drive, this is an extremely fun car to drive. Yes, it's front-wheel drive, but the way the chassis is set up and how the suspension is more free and not as tied down in the back, it lets you rotate the car through corners. And if you get a feel for your car, and if you're not just flooring it through corners, if you can get a feel for it, you can stick that front end in there and the back will rotate around, helping the car turn and vector around the corners. So that's a lot of the good about this car. Overall, I don't think it looks like it is aged. I think it is held throughout time, since 2013. The 13 and 14 models of the Focus ST have different front fascia, and there's so on the back here they don't have this plastic. I actually think on the 13 and 14 models the back of the car looks better, and on the 15 and above models the front looks better. So I think it's a trade-off, but overall, even when you see a 13 or 14 model, I still think it's a good looking car. It doesn't really look dated, it just looks a little different. And I think Ford did a really nice job of transitioning those cars through the midlife cycle. But from what I can see, it looks like they're going to run production through 2018, and that's a good thing. Interior, it's spacious enough to fit 4 adults, I would say. It has a seat for 5, but I've had 5 people in here, and it's tight in the back. On longer trips, I have the ST3, so I have the Recaro seats. They can be slightly uncomfortable, but again, as soon as you get this car on a back road, you fully understand why those seats are in this car, and they're worth any pain that they would bring you on a long trip. The carbon fiber package finishes the interior extremely well. Gauges are great. The digital speedometer's there. The dials are decent. Overall, I mean, that's the good. It's a really good package for a very fair price, and within its segment, I still think even after not changing the power for 5 years, it's right on top. I think cars like the FRS, the Honda Civic Si, cars like that fall into this category. You could say the WRX maybe does, with it being all-wheel drive, but it is a little more powerful. It's kind of a trade-off. It depends what you need. I think this car competes very well with that segment. It's going to depend on what you like. So now let's talk about the bad parts of the Focus ST. Now, it's hard for me to talk poorly about my own car, but one thing that I've done on this channel that I feel I've done a nice job of is giving you a fair review of this car. If there's something wrong with it, if there's a car out there that I feel is better, I let you know. Let's just dive into it. One of the things that they need to fix is this needs a limited slip differential. There's no question about that. It has 270 foot-pounds of torque going through the front wheels, and the torque vectoring that it comes with, it's pretty good, but it's not as good as a limited slip differential. I had a 2011 Honda Civic Si before I had my Focus ST, and it had a limited slip differential. Now obviously there's a lot less power, but when you feel that thing working around turns, it is a huge difference. In any kind of the brake vectoring that they have in these, you feel it pinch the tire every once in a while when you're taking a hard right or left turn, but I would still much rather have a differential or have them both working in tandem. It would help the car put power down better. It would help it power out of turns better. It's something that they're lacking in, and it's something that the other cars in the segment, such as the Honda Civic Si, have, which can make them sometimes more drivable going all out around track days, back roads, etc. This new Kia Stinger just drove by. Dana would have passed out. Another bad thing about this car, and it might be all Fords in general, and that is the paint. The paint is very thin on this car. While you can't see it now, it probably looks great on the camera. There are some chips on the hood. The front bumper is pretty worn just from the grit and stuff that's on the roads out here. So they need to thicken the paint. I know that's going to add cost. You know, a lot of German cars have several layers of paint that they put on their cars like this. But that Stinger just went flying by again. The seats in this car, like I said, they are great. They hold you in place. I think they're comfortable, but someone that's not shaped like me, I'm 6 feet tall, 165 pounds, that maybe they're not as comfortable. So I think, and I can understand that. I think they should make them just a little more wide, and also on the power seats, you have no way of tilting the seat, which would make it the world of difference on long trips, because your legs are kind of sitting up in an angle and your circulation cuts off, so your legs can kind of go numb. So I think that's something that they need to address. Another thing that Ford needs to address is the reliability of these cars. That's something on the comments of my videos when I talk about this versus the WRX, that everyone likes to say, oh, the WRX is way more reliable, and this happened with Ford, and Ford's having issues. Here's what I have to say about reliability. On just about any car you buy today, it's going to be a reliable car. Yes, there are maybe 1 in every 1,000 built that have issues, and then that person squawks about it, and then everyone thinks that, you know, that car is unreliable, when in reality, there's so much R&D that go into engines these days that it's tough to say that that car's garbage or that car is unreliable. That's kind of a thing of the past, but still, I think Ford should go the extra mile in proving how it's a reliable car. Put it up against a Honda engine, put it up against a Subaru engine, put it through all kinds of tests, and prove to the consumer as to why it's a reliable car. I think that would do a lot for their sales, and would do a lot for the image of Ford as an automotive company as a whole. So now let's talk about the future of the Focus ST. There's been rumors about the 2019, there have been spy shots of the new Focus that's coming up, but yet here we are with 2018 models and colors that are already released. So what is going to happen to this car in the future? I think probably what Ford's going to do is bump the power up to about 275 horsepower to continue to be cutting edge as far as a front-wheel drive hatchback. Is it going to be Civic Type R? No, it's not. Civic Type R, as far as front-wheel drive hot hatches go, is currently the king. It's going to be a while until any American hatchback that's front-wheel drive is even going to be able to compete with that on a track. In Europe, they have the Renault Clio RS something, that thing, the Megane. There's several cars over, or maybe it's the Renault Megane. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'll let you guys in the comments handle that one. As far as the future of this car goes, I think they need to do it's going to be a full body reshape, because it's not, like I said, we did the midlife refresh, that's over. I'm talking about new chassis, new exterior, new interior. The whole thing is going to be revamped. The spy shots that have been shown so far at the Nürburgring show dual outlet exhaust, and that was on a Focus ST supposedly. The way they found it was a Focus ST was because of the inlets in the front of the car showing a bigger intercooler and radiator, or bigger openings to get air into the engine, which is why they think it was a Focus ST. What they need to do for the future of this car, they need to add the limited slip differential. They need to keep the weight down. You know, when you have this car fully loaded like I do, I think it's 3,250, maybe almost 3,300 pounds, and that's too much. That's way too much weight. It needs to be 3,100 and under, even fully loaded. It's a front-wheel drive car. It's not all-wheel drive. You can cut weight, make it aluminum hood, make it aluminum roof, do things that the enthusiast is going to appreciate. Really differentiate it from a base Focus. I think when they have those things, and if you've ever felt an aluminum hood or a roof or carbon fiber roof, now I don't expect them to put a carbon fiber roof, but you get what I'm saying. Put lightweight components in areas where it's not going to cost you that much when you produce a ton of them. You know, if we have to pay an extra $500 for the car, but it has aluminum hood and has all this weight-saving technology, I think that's what's going to help the Focus ST accelerate into the future, keep its sales up, and keep the segment and keep our community happy and proud of what Ford is doing with the Focus ST. Keeping 18-inch wheels, I think, is smart. 19s at most. It's crazy what is happening with wheels right now in this segment. When I got this car, I came from a car with 17-inch wheels, and I was like, wow, it's awesome to have 18-inch wheels. They look good, they ride good, the ride quality is healthy and smooth, but then again, they keep pushing the envelope. The Civic Type R has 20-inch wheels. A Civic has 20-inch wheels from the factory. I just can't get over that. The engineers at the end of the day are going to make the right decision. They're going to make the conservative decision because of the penny pinchers up top. You know, you can't make it exactly how I want, but that leaves room for the aftermarket. And that's another part that I bring up that's also great about this car, is having companies like Mountain Tune and Ford Performance, where you have all these under warranty performance parts for this car, which I think sets it apart from a lot of other manufacturers. Now, companies like Toyota has the MD86, there are some upgrades, but it's like intake, suspension. With Mountain Tune, you can chip tune this car, intake, intercooler, all that stuff, and it can be covered under a Ford warranty. That's awesome. A lot of reasons that people don't upgrade their cars because it's not covered under warranty, and I'm one of those people. That worries me. I like to have things covered if I'm buying a brand new car. So that's what I think needs to happen with the Focus ST for it to continue to be a successful hot hatch in the United States and around the world. Having a global platform where everyone from around the world can collaborate and talk about and upgrade this car is a great idea on Ford's part. And as this community is that I have on my Facebook channel, my YouTube channel, it's nice to be able to talk to people from Australia, in the UK, in Canada, in Mexico, all these people that have the exact same car that I do. You know, there's some countries where they don't have the certain packages, but overall we have the same engine, we have the same suspension setup, same shifter, steering wheel. So we're driving essentially the same car, and it's nice to be able to talk like that throughout the whole world. So that's what I think needs to happen. Leave in the comments below what you think needs to happen for the Ford Focus ST to continue to be successful into its next body, or into its next lifestyle change. If you're still with me on this video, go ahead and drop a like. I really appreciate all the support I've been given throughout the 2 years that I've owned this car, and I am going to be doing a 2-year review, so that's coming. Everyone relax. But I really appreciate your support. I'm pushing to get 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year. If I get 10,000 subscribers before the end of 2017, I'm going to drive out to Mountain Tune in California, and I'm going to be doing the MP275 pack, upgrade pack, on my Focus ST. So, if you're not subscribed, subscribe and I'll make that happen. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.